everybody. Another exciting time of the week here at Fut-Afrique channel. This is the Fut-Afrique podcast and I am joined by an amazing guest. Here we talk all things women in football. And today I have a goddess, somebody who's so pretty. Like when she walked in here, my jaw was dropped. We have the amazing Thalea Smidt joining us today for this podcast. Before I ask you how are you, let's get the pronunciations right. I know some people are like, it's Thalea, it's Thalea, it's... How do we pronounce the name and the surname correctly for the rest of South Africa who's been saying it wrong?
Thalea Smidt.
Thalea, saying Thalea.
Hey.
Thalea Smidt. I'm sure you get that a lot, ne?
Yeah, especially Thalea.
Oh, and it's Thalea from JMVW, so they probably think same WhatsApp group and everything like that.
Yeah.
So you guys got it right. Please get it right. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good, thanks. You look so pretty.
Thank you.
Is this how players look off season?
Yeah.
Because we're so used to seeing you guys in kit and in sweat and all of that, but you look amazing.
Thank you.
There's
you know,
that
in
glow.
Season, like, it's just the tracksuit, so...
Yes,
We
yeah.
have to show people that, you know, we can.
They mustn't disrespect you
Thank
guys
you.
because you guys are making people run for their money.
You know?
So happy to have you here. What an amazing player that you've been. We've been following your career and your journey and your story for the longest time, but we brought you here so that other people can also get insight of that. It's a platform to just give out the information and for you to speak. And I want to talk about where it all started with you. I know every player has a story. It's either they were following their brothers who used to go to soccer, or they had a dad that loved sport, or somebody was working sport. Where did it all begin for you?
Okay, for me, it started at a quite young age. So in my family, my father and my brother played football. So most of the times I would accompany my father to the soccer field, and I would find excitement in watching him play. Until one day I just started like kicking cans around on the field.
Yeah.
And then my father decided that, okay, maybe we should try out at football. And then at the age of 6, I joined a club in my hometown where I'm from, Strandfontein AFC. So I started playing with boys. I was 6 and...
6?
Yeah.
That's like in grade 1, grade 2?
Yeah, I think
That's
grade
very
1.
young. Yeah.
Because I didn't go to grade R. So I think I was a bit too smart. So...
Are you giving us Dr. Matthew vibes?
But yeah, I was grade 1 at the time, 6 years old. And my father's like, okay, let's let her go and attend training, see how she feels about it, and take it from there. And then I started with boys. I think I was under 8 at the time, and I was about 6, 7. And then played with boys. I played with actually some good players at the time. Some of the players went on to play for Ajax Cape Town at the time.
Okay.
Yeah, like some of the boys that I played with, when they got to like under 13, they got scouted by Ajax and they went to go and play for Ajax. So I played with some good players at the time. And then under 6, under 8, and under 9, I think that's when I was playing with the boys. And then Strandfontein AFC opened a women's team in 2009, if I'm not mistaken.
We like that. We like to hear that there was a team that opened a ladies team in 2009.
If I'm not mistaken, and then I joined them. So they were playing in the ABSA League at the time. It was still called, which is now called the Regional.
Yes, yeah, the regional league.
Yeah, so it was the ABSA League at the time, and then I joined them. And then I think I played 1 year, and I've kind of taken all the trophies that was up for grabs in the team. Yeah. And then after that, I joined Santos women's team. Yeah. At the time, they had a guys team playing in the PSL as well, so the club was also quite well known.
Yes, it was.
And then joined them, played 2 seasons there, and that's where I played Sassuolo for the first time with Santos.
Yeah.
And then after Santos, I moved to Spurs Women's Football Club, and then I also played 2 seasons there.
Yeah.
And then I think that was at the time when now I was on high school and about to finish my matric. So I had to decide, what do I want to do next? And then I decided that I want to study, and that's when I joined UWC.
Oh, yes. Thalea, you spoke about how your parents, your dad was like, okay, she's kicking cans. Perhaps there's something there. How has it been such a motivator for you to have a supportive structure like that? Because we know a lot of players come from households that don't perceive football as a professional career for their children to partake in, basically because of obvious reasons, not having a professional league, not having that financial contribution that you'd give at home. But how important has the role of your parents been in terms of nourishing this talent and making it to where you are currently?
I think it has been very important for me because since a young age, I had the support of my parents, you know, and I also had that thing at the back of my mind. Maybe they wouldn't allow me to play football because they would perceive it maybe as a male's game. But my parents were very encouraging, and I think they could also see that it's something that I love already at the young age, something that I'm passionate about. So for them, it was more just of supporting me because it's something that I love. I mean, I played different sports at a young age. I played netball, so my mother was a netball player, so she was encouraging that also more. But I think once they saw that my heart was leaning a lot to the soccer side, that's when they decided, okay, if that's what you want to do, we support you. And I think they also saw the potential in me, and I think that support that they have given me since a young age is it's still evident today, because, you know, sometimes as soccer players, sometimes we feel that, you know, we are not good enough, but then just having the support of your parents just to keep us on our toes and remind us that, look, this is your blessing, this is what God has given you, and a bad day doesn't mean it's not for you. So the support really, really goes a long way, especially in times where we need to hear that voice saying that you have the potential, you are capable, and you are a star. So the support has been good throughout.
Absolutely love it, because when you spoke about that voice that needs to constantly speak to you, we know a lot of players that also have the heart for the sports like you do. However, not having that support structure around them has made them fall off the waves. You know, they've given up on the sport because perhaps one mistake or one hiccup that they've come across in their football and careers made them feel like they're not good enough. And if there's no parent out there to say, pick up your socks, pull up your socks, let's go and do it again, sometimes people don't get that support. So it's absolutely phenomenal. And listening to your story, and I hear that there was a little bit of heart, because I was going to ask you, I was like, did you then choose football because it's something that you were just good at? You're like, I'm good at it, I'm killing it with the boys, I'm just going to continue, or you had heart for it? Because it's like, you know, when you go to grade 10, it's like, do I choose subjects that of things I want to be, or do I just choose subjects that I'm good at? But it's good to see that you have the heart for it, and it shows in the work that you've been doing and up until now. So let's progress all the way to your first national call-up. What was that conversation? How did it feel for you? Because I imagine when you were a kid, you always had that, you know, dream to, you know, have your first national call-up, have your caps, break records, like Noko and them have, and Portia Modisas and all of that. How was that moment when you got your first national call-up, and how old were you?
I think most people think that my first national call-up was last year, 2022.
That's funny.
Yeah, because like when I got called up to the national team, so it happened at a point where I was doing well with Sundowns. We were winning the CAF, we won the league, had some good performances, and, you know, a lot of people started asking, why are we not seeing this play in the national team? And then I get called up, and a lot of people think it's my first time in the national team, but what a lot of people don't know is that I was actually called up to the national team in 2015, the senior national team with Coach Vera Pau at the time.
Yes.
So the time that I got called up, I was with the under-20 team, and we were playing the under-20 World Cup qualifiers. We lost at the last round of the qualifiers against Nigeria. So we lost away 2-1, then we lost at home 1-0. So after our qualifiers, Coach Vera called quite a few of us to the national team, the senior national team at the time. And maybe at the time, the media coverage of the national team was not as prominent as it is now. And that's maybe why
it was
most people think that it was my first time being in camp with the senior national team. But last year was my first. Last year was 2022, right?
Yes.
Okay. Last year was my first official game. And I think it came at a time where I felt like I deserved it. I felt like I was playing good football, and I felt like I could give something to the national team. So I was excited. I was happy. A lot of emotion. I was nervous, anxious, like what's it gonna be like inside there, but then also comforted by the fact that I would know a lot of people inside camp.
Yes.
Yeah. So it's a different ball game. It's a different environment inside the national team. The level at which we train is high. So I remember I got called into camp. I think could have been Jan or Feb last year, because there was a friendly game against Zambia, because the team was preparing for the WAFCON qualifiers. Yeah, I think it was the last round of qualifying game against Algeria.
Yes.
And the friendly game, so I was pushing hard in camp, and you never really know if you did enough.
Yes.
You never really know. Exactly.
It's not a guarantee.
So I think you just have to do your part and pray and hope that it's your time. And then we went to Zambia, and I started on the bench, and then halftime I subbed in. And Zambia is not an easy team,
definitely.
Oh,
hey, the Bandas, they are not easy.
Oh, those ones always give us trouble.
Yes.
Zambia always give us a tough game. And then I got subbed in, and the intensity of the game was so high, and I just tried my best to manage and do what I could. And I think I did fairly well, and I think the coaches were also happy. We lost the game, but it was understanding because the league was not on. We just came into camp. And then it was the qualifiers, and I made the team for the qualifiers. And we played Algeria, home and away, and I was part of both qualifying rounds. And then I got some time. I think I got a few minutes in Algeria. I think we drew. No, actually, the first game was in South Africa.
Yes.
And the score was 1-0 to us. And then came in as a sub, and I gave a second assist.
Yes.
It was some top. It was some top quality things. I remember I received the ball from one of the opponents was trying to pass, and I intercepted, and the ball came from the left, and obviously when the ball comes from one side, being a midfielder, you want to change the play, and just one control, and I hit the diagonal to Gabby. Gabby played across the Tembe, and we scored.
We need to have a clip of that.
I have it.
We need to have a clip of that, because I think people need to see that quality. Thank you. Please share that video, because we need to see this quality you're talking about. But I think when you speak, I'm completely understanding, because I can see the gradual growth that you've had, and the investment you've given to football, and remembering every single event in terms of date, in terms of the players, in terms of the intensity of the game, just goes to show how serious you take your craft. And in the next part, we're going to definitely talk about that. We're gonna strip everything apart and talk about your involvement in the national team, you wearing that captain band at COSAFA, you winning that player of the match, and all of those things, because I think it leads to all the victory through all the challenges. But we'll be back right now to have the conversation more about everything to do with Thalea Smidt.